Hi students, welcome to Maths Point of View. Today we are going to solve each and every theory question from the chapter Scattering of Light and its Application. This is part C of the main chapter Spectrum. Before watching this video, my suggestion is watch the concept video first. Then you will understand few terms and meaning of few terms in the theory solution, or else it will be little confusing. So without wasting any time, we'll start with our first question. Before starting our first question, we need to know some basics. See, we have to write VIBGYOR from bottom to top. VIBGYOR. Okay, here we need to know red as maximum wavelength. Maximum wavelength compared to all these colors. Okay, violet as minimum wavelength. See, what is the meaning of maximum wavelength? It is very simple. Maximum wavelength means scattering will be less. What do you mean by scattering? Scattering is nothing but spreading. Okay, so red has maximum wavelength, right? So it will not scatter easily. So it has minimum scattering. Okay, minimum scattering. Minimum scattering. So scattering means spreading. So minimum scattering means it will not spread easily. In the same way, violet has minimum wavelength, it has maximum scattering. So violet compared to all the colors, okay, it will spread easily. So this meaning you should know, and everything goes in this order only. And see, red as maximum wavelength, orange as less wavelength compared to red, yellow as less wavelength compared to orange. In this order it will go. So the wavelength keep on decreasing. And one more thing, if it has maximum wavelength, it will definitely have minimum frequency. Okay, keep this in mind. And if this has minimum wavelength, it will have maximum frequency. These are some tips, so this will definitely make us understand the question in a easier way. Our first question: when sunlight enters the Earth's atmosphere, state which color of light is scattered the most and which is least. See, very simple question. See, and they are not asking for the reason also. If they are not asking for reason, then don't write one. Keep this in mind. They are just asking us to write the colors. That's it. So which will scatter the most? So scattering is inversely proportional to wavelength. Okay, minimum wavelength, okay, will scatter more. Minimum wavelength, just now we have learnt violet as minimum. So to get scattered more, it should have minimum wavelength. Keep this in mind. To get scattered more, okay, it has to have minimum wavelength. So violet as more, violet will scatter more. Okay, then when it comes to, they are asking for other color which scatters least. Red, okay, least. Okay, so here they are using most, right? More or most, anything is fine. Okay, violet will scattered most, red will scattered least. If they are not asking for reason, so don't write one. If they are asking for a reason, why? Because red has maximum wavelength. Wavelength and scattering are inversely proportional. So here scattering is least, but why? Because it has maximum wavelength. Here the scattering is more or most. Why? Because it has minimum wavelength. That's it. Our next question: a beam of blue, green and yellow light passes through the Earth's atmosphere. Name the color which is scattered the least and the most. So here whenever they talk about just colors, any colors, okay, red will scatter least and violet will scatter most, that we know, correct? Whenever, apart from that, if they give different colors, then we have to write the VIBGYOR. Okay, VIBGYOR, okay, from bottom to top. So this is one way to easily understand, and in order to avoid the confusion, this is the best method. Okay, now once you write this one, select the colors. They have given blue, green and yellow. They are talking about these three colors. So in these three colors, which will scatter least and which will scatter most, that we have to identify. So in order to answer that, many students can answer easily, okay, but few students will find it difficult. That's why I'm teaching you this method. Okay, now listen. We know red will scatter minimum scattering. Okay, minimum scattering because maximum wavelength, because it has maximum wavelength. Violet will have maximum scattering. Why? Because it has minimum wavelength. Now this you should know. Okay, here we need to understand whether they are talking about wavelength or scattering. This question is about scattering, correct? So you need to think only about scattering. Okay, we know from red to violet, scattering keeps on increasing. Scattering keeps on increasing. So what is the first question? Out of these three, which will have minimum scattering least? That is nothing but yellow. So least is for yellow. Okay, we are talking about only these three colors. If they are generally talking red as minimum scattering or least scattering, now they are talking about only these colors. That is why you see the minimum, the scattering value keeps on increasing from red to violet. So yellow has least scattering, and which is most, that is nothing but blue, most scattering. That's it. See, you can answer this question directly. You don't have to do this circus and all. This is for few students who cannot imagine all these things in their brain. So in this way, whether you can easily understand. Why? Because these kind of questions are asked for 2 marks. Okay, so if you spend this much time also, that is fine. So finally, what is important? Getting the correct answer. That's it. So we have a lot of time to answer the questions. Okay, for that we need to understand the question properly. Our next question: what is meant by scattering of light? Scattering is a process of absorption and re-emission of light energy by the dust and air particles in the environment or atmosphere. That's it. So it is absorbed. See, light energy is absorbed and re-emitted. Absorbed and re-emitted by dust and air molecules in the atmosphere. That's it. This is nothing but scattering. Our next question: how does the intensity of scattered light depends on the wavelength of incident light? State condition when this dependence holds. Okay, listen. So you need to understand the meaning of few words here before going for the solution. Intensity. What do you mean by intensity? It is almost like a brightness. Almost like a brightness. So more the intensity means more the brightness. We know we are talking about intensity of scattered light. What do you mean by scattered light? Spread. Okay, scattering means almost spreading. Okay, so more the spread, intensity will be less. So they are asking how that is depends on the wavelength. That is nothing but they are asking for the formula or relation. See, intensity of scattered light, okay, is inversely proportional to the fourth power of wavelength. This is the wavelength of incident light, and every different color will have different wavelength. Keep that in mind. We know that, right? Red has maximum wavelength, violet has minimum wavelength. We are not talking about the complete light. Okay, we are talking about a particular color light. So that wavelength we have to substitute. No numerical will be as based on this one. This relation you should know. Intensity of scattered light is inversely proportional to the fourth power of wavelength. That's it. Now they are asking for the condition. See, the condition is very simple. So it is observed. What do you mean by scattering? It is observed and re-emitted by dust and air particles, correct? So the size of the air molecules should be smaller than the wavelength of incident light. Okay, what light we are incidenting, it may be any color. The wavelength of that particular light has to be more compared to the size of the air molecules. That's it. If this condition is proper, then scattering will occur. Our next question: which color of white light is scattered the least? Give reason. See, here they are not asking for the wavelength. They are talking about scattering. You need to understand the difference. Wavelength is different, scattering is different. Few students, when they are in hurry, if they are talking about wavelength, they will answer for scattering. So this kind of mistakes you need to avoid. Slowly, calm, with a peace of mind, you have to answer the question. So they are talking about scattering the least. So we know which color has maximum wavelength, that will have minimum scattering. Maximum wavelength, that will have minimum scattering. So answer for this question is red. and they're asking for a reason. Why? Because it has the longest wavelength. That's it. The remaining questions we are going to skip. Why? Because it is of give reason type of questions. In none of the chapters we have skipped give reason type of questions, only in this chapter. Why? Because this is a very small chapter, and in the chapter only we have learned all the reason in depth, and there is no much questions they can ask apart from the concept video. So the same questions they have repeated in the theory solution. That is why we are going to skip it, because we have learnt in depth in the concept video. This is the only chapter in which we are skipping the give reason type of questions. We have learnt in depth in the concept video. So now we have completed part A, part B, part C, concept, theory, and some small numericals. So if you have learnt in this way, you can answer any question. So after this, go for the previous year papers, then application and logical. All these things are in chapter wise. So once you go in this order, then only you will get the proper knowledge. So whatever the question they ask, you can easily answer any question. Thank you.